So he went inside the restaurant, and he starts screaming at all the people, "You don't know how to eat proper Italian food. Just eat
No.
Italian food, and if you're not happy, you cannot come here."
What is the difference between, working in a high-pressured kitchen to then going on television? Because there's still pressure on TV, but it's just very different.
He removed the burger, hit it up on the ceiling, and the burger come down on the grill. After he put it on the floor, he give the mark of the shoes, he take it, put in his burger, and he serve it.
Welcome back to the Chef JKP Podcast. And on the show today, we have the corporate chef of a My Gourmet restaurant group, as well as that, a familiar face on the TV, the one and only Marwan Sardouk. Marwan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this place. I'm very excited to start with you. So let's kick in.
Tell me your first or favorite childhood food memory.
Look, I love first was the omelette, actually, because my mom didn't know how to do omelette, and my father always want me to do omelette in the morning. So I was only 12 years old, and I have to put something under my feet so I can go up to reach the gas. And that time I used to have I get the eggs, I prepare everything, I mix it well, I cook it perfectly, and I serve it to my dad. So it was my job every day before I go to school.
Wow.
So this is what I used to prepare for my dad every day in the
So
morning.
you must have been like an omelette master, very young.
When I was young, yes.
And originally, where are you from in the world?
I'm from Lebanon, from Beirut.
So what were the types of food you used to love growing up as a child?
Okay, look, my area where I was staying, it's full of street food. And the area there was a lot of restaurants. They call them the master of street food, which is the Lebanese food where a lot of traditional food have been made in that area, which I believe who knows Lebanese food, there is like melouchia, bazella, and rice, and falafel, hummus, all kind of appetizers. So I used to work in my free time with this kind of with this people like if you know the restaurants called Falafel Khalifa. It's one of the best falafel in Lebanon. I used to go there just to work for a very little amount of money, just to learn how they are doing the falafel and what's the procedure to do it. Then I moved to another place. It's called Abu Nawaz, which is closed right now. It's a very old restaurant with a traditional food. I learned from a lot of chefs there how to marinate the shish tawu, how to do the kebab, how to marinate the shawarma, how to do all this traditional stuff we used to do it in Lebanon. So it was a very good start for me to learn this kind of things. Because I believe for the chef it's very important to have strong basics.
But how old were you when you were helping in these sort of street
13
food
years
vendors?
old.
13?
Yeah, 13.
So you'd go to school and then go to work?
Yes, I go to school, and after I go to work, and I have to spend some money on my family because my father was sick that time, and mom is working, so I have to support the family. So basically, I go to school. After I finish my school, I go back to work, and I work in one very nice place. It's called the owner name is Munzir Al Karaki. He do the best sandwiches in Beirut. If you go there in the morning, you will see a very big line, people waiting just to have their sandwich. And the good thing about this guy that he remembers every order without punching it. Like, for example, there is 20 people. 20 people, they're gonna tell him what are the ingredients and what you have to put in the sandwich, and he keep remembering every single person what he need to put.
No way.
And he's very fast. He's like magician.
Wow.
I used to prepare for him the mise en place, cutting the tomatoes, preparing the mint leaves. He give me big bags of mint leaves. I have to clean it all. cooking we cooking the chicken liver, how to make sure it's not smelly. It's just the basic things where I learned from him how to be consistent and how to. I used to work for like 6-7 hours after school, so it gives me a lot of motivation that time and a lot of experience.
But it's you have quite a an amazing work ethic from a very young age.
Yes.
You really sort of put yourself in there. But after sort of school, when you were sort of 16 to 18, did you straight away want to become a chef, or did you have a different path?
Look, to be honest, when I was young, I loved computer. I always want to check Encarta, check. I studied also a little bit of Cisco, Internet Networking, C++. So I used to do some networking. So I love computer. And then uh, as a chef, it was something to make money from. And I suddenly fell in love with cooking because it was everything for me every day after school. And then I decided to proceed with as a chef. And I loved it later on because I got an opportunity when I was 18 years old to work with Pachi chocolate. So I learned the chocolate, the marzipan, the fillings, the janduya fillings, everything. So I loved working in sweets. And then they took the partnership with Alain Ducasse. And then where I started working with Alain Ducasse and Pachi chocolate together, where we open a pastry restaurant, a pastry cafe in downtown. It's called Tamaris by Alain Ducasse, where I start working with very professional chefs from France, and this is where it inspires me to continue doing this job.
But tell me about working alongside somebody like Alain Ducasse. He is an absolute culinary genius, legend, numerous Michelin stars throughout the world. But how was it for you to work alongside him?
Look, long time was completely different than here. We believe that many people coming to Dubai, I know that they want to work, they have to get experience, but it's all about the money. We are here to make money. But when I was working with Alain Ducasse, you cannot think about money. We were like an army. We go inside the kitchen. Everything change when you step inside the kitchen. If he tell you this is a blue, you have to tell him we chef. If he tell you this is a black, we chef. You cannot say no. Every every day we have a nominee. We started 22 chefs. We end up in 1 month less than 12 chefs, and there is no stewards. There is no support at all. You have to do everything by yourself. You learn. You don't touch anything unless you learn it properly. You cannot touch, for example, the poche plastic where you want to make the macarons or you want to make something unless you learn properly. He will be behind you, looking at you, chef. I remember there was a chef called Nicolas Berger. He was one of the chefs from Alain Ducasse. We were working like machines. You have to remember 3 4 things at the same time. Like, for example, you're putting sugar on the gas, you're putting something in the oven, and you have to make sure that everything is next to you. You cannot just move, because in the end of the day he's gonna sit with you on the table. He's gonna tell you you lost 2 minutes from here, 2 minutes from there. You're making me lose money. Instead of working 9 hours, there is 45 minutes you are not working at this time. So it's very critical to be consistent in this kind of pressure, and you have to learn everything step by step. Like, for example, let me tell you a story. One day I wanted to leave early. I asked the chef, "Can I please leave early?" He said, "Yes, no problem. Catch the scraper and start cleaning the pastry from beginning till the end. And after you finish, then you can leave early, not a problem." And I believe that many of them, they are very consistent when it comes to the job. Like, for example, the chef is talking with his wife. Her name, I remember, her name is Carol. So outside the kitchen, "Hi, how are you, babe? Are you okay?" When he enters the kitchen, "Yes, Carol, I'm busy right now. Can I call you later?" And he closes. So it's very strict when it comes to the kitchen. And we were working like really army. Sometimes we bring the sac à couchage where we can sleep, and we sleep for the next day just to open the pastry in the early morning and continue working. Especially when we have occasions like we need to prepare for the Bûche de Noël and all this, we are 24 hours in the kitchen.
What I wanted to ask you, Marwan, is you had 22 chefs or 22 chefs in the beginning, and then you were down to 12.
Yes.
Why was that?
Look, they are watching everything. They will see how intelligent you are when you're doing your job, how much consistent you are. It depends on the timing. It depends on your how you maintain your clothes. It depends how you learn things fast. It depends how consistent when you're doing the pastries. It depends how much you learn. Some people, for example, they are tired. I cannot. I need to leave. They are stressed, so they cannot continue anymore. And if you tell the chef, "Sure, sorry, I cannot do it. I need to take rest. Thank you so much. The door is open. You can leave." So it's more about learning new things. It's about developing your basics, because everything in Alain Ducasse we learn from scratch. I came here to Dubai. I was doing food trial. Everything was ready mixes. Everything was you just mix this and that and you have the cake. But when I was work with Alain Ducasse, we don't use any kind of ingredients. The chocolate, they bring the chocolate from scratch. They add the gum to it. They put it in the machines. They temporize it, and after we use it. And then, for example, the janduyas, everything from scratch. We get it into the cylinder. We toast it. We put in the cylinders. Then we clean it. Then we do the praline from it. The sauces, everything we do it from scratch. There is no any single ingredients goes inside the kitchen unless we do it from scratch. This is the things where you learn from these people, and you don't learn it anywhere else, because I believe many of pastry chefs now, they are using molds, they are using a lot of stuff, and they copy each other, or they change a little bit with it, but the basics is still the same. But when I learn pastry, I do everything from scratch, even the old traditional creams, the sauces, everything we do it from scratch. We don't get ready mixes or ready powders. And what inspires me a lot, that if you spoil something while you're preparing, like for example, you're preparing pâte sucrée, which is sablé or something, and suddenly it's separated. The chef will come there, will add something like crème de tarte or add something to it. He will not throw it. He will fix it, and you can use it again. So this is very strong experience. You get it when you work with this.
And
with Alain
how
Ducasse.
long were you there for this particular partnership?
I worked with them in Lebanon before the war for 2 years. Then I traveled to France. I worked in France for almost 4.5 years.
So, Marwan, I have to say that must have been, I mean, don't get me wrong, it must have been extremely tough when it comes to the pressure side of things. However, you must have really learned a massive amount of working with these guys. You know, it must have really set you apart and also set you up for your future career.
Yes, look, you will learn a lot of things in life more than what you learn in kitchen, because I believe 90% of the chefs needs a good, strong personality when it comes to the job. And when you have a strong personality, you can develop the character that you want. So working with these people it gives you it create your personality. As me as a chef, I gather the good things from each kind of chef, and I develop my personality. This is how I develop myself. It's very stressing. We used to be under a lot of pressure. I learn a lot of things, not only in pastry, because after I worked for 2 years in pastry, I moved with them inside the kitchen. So we were preparing, like I was working as a garde-manger, prepare all the salads, prepare all the vegetables, prepare everything. Then I moved for the fish, seafood, then how to clean the fish, how to clean the seafood, how to cook it properly. You need to understand the fish, where's the origin. Working with Alain Ducasse, it will teach you exactly where this fish came from, where this vegetable's origin came from, why we are cooking it this way, why this is a shallow fish, why this is a Chilean sea bass, why it's a deep water fish, how to cook it. And this is a soft fish, for example, it lives in sweet water, how the way you have to cook it. So this kind of things, you don't usually learn it in normal culinary schools, because this is what helps me also in competitions when I'm doing competitions, because sometimes you get a white fish, you don't know how to cook it. So you need to have a proper way how to cook it, maybe in the sous vide, and then you finish it in the oven, or you cook in the sous vide, finish it on the pan. So each kind of fish depends on the on the depths of the fish, how it swims, and the nature of her body. You need to know how to cook it. And they always encourage us in France to go in the market in the morning, try to find a new kind of vegetables and to cook with it. So uh, I can't remember all the names, but if you ask me, you can give me any kind of vegetables. So I have to find a way how to cook it with this kind of food. And we always trying to do new stuff, trying to experience a new kind of sauces, mixing some kind of Asian sauces with a French cuisine. Look, I work in Dubai for 14 years now here. I try to implement the same system that I was doing it in France. Unfortunately, in the first company where I start to implement this system, more than 20 people wanted to resign. They don't want to handle this kind of pressure. They don't want to be the same chef that I was in the beginning when I start working with Alain Ducasse, which I find it difficult because this is why I'm telling you most of the people here, mostly they are looking for money, okay, which is everybody do that. But it helps me a lot because I started from a younger age to learn a lot of things from them. And this was a very good opportunity for me to build my career. This why you give me any kind of vegetables, any kind of seafood, any kind of meat, I can literally do something out from it.
But when you went to France, where was it that you worked? Which part of France?
Le Meurice, 3 Michelin star restaurant. I started there as a CDP and then I ended there as a senior sous chef. And then I got the position at head chef, but I couldn't be able to stay there. But working as a sous chef or head chef in Le Meurice is like working as a corporate chef in any other places. And you need to understand every single step what you're doing. And I am the only one who uh, I studied French and I went there to France. There was little bit of every kitchen have their own politics.
Of course.
So
Always.
yeah, so it was a little bit challenging dealing with French people, and you are Lebanese. So this was one of the major challenges for me, and this was of the major thing that makes me leave to another place.
But did you learn about kitchen management at that time? How old were you, first of all, when you got the position of sous chef there?
I was 25, 24, 25, 26.
Okay, so
something
at
like
25 years old, Marwan, how was your management style?
Look, I'm very tough when it comes to the kitchen. Because I learn from these people how to manage things. As I told you, I start to gather the good things from the chefs and also prepare to develop my personality. And the good thing that helps me a lot, look, many chefs, you cannot just shout at them and tell them this is wrong. You have to teach them how to do it. And I have a very strong basics in pastry and then in kitchen. So it helps me a lot if I see someone doing something wrong. First of all, I teach him 1 time, 2 time, and 3 time, and I have to do it even better for him to be able to gain the respect. So this is one of the things that makes people respect me, because I'm not just there telling him this is wrong and just don't show him how to do it. You need to show the chef how to do it. That's what you get. How you get your respect between the chefs.
But at that age, nobody sort of teaches you how to become a manager. So how were you as a manager?
Look, the operation was very simple there because we are only 7 or 8 chefs there. So it doesn't have this systematic things when here in Dubai. You're not handling a company of a group of restaurants. You just have one restaurant. You just do your orders. We go to the market. We choose our seafood. We manage our par levels. We do because it's always as a set menu, and sometimes we do specialty occasions. But everything we do it, and you're talking about a menu of 12, 15 items, not more than that. So it was easy for us to manage this. It's more like managing the people than managing the restaurant on a higher level. This was
But I think, honestly, Marwan, I think it's such an amazing thing to be able to, you have that phenomenal base within pastry, and then you move to main kitchen. A lot of people would not have been able to do that. They would have just either stayed in pastry or, carried on becoming a pastry chef or chocolatier. But actually moving to the hot kitchen, not an easy decision. But why did you also decide to do that?
Look, I'm pastry. Look, in pastry, usually people makes more money, and it's more about you need to be calm. You need to be like I don't know how to say it. You need a lot of patience. I'm a person in kitchen. I want to finish things very fast. I don't have this patience to continue in paces. So this is the reason I moved to the kitchen, to the main kitchen.
But then you also worked with another amazing chef, Heinz Beck.
Yes.
Tell me about that experience.
Okay. I was working actually in Marca Holding, and in Marca Holding they wanted to open Taste of Italy. So Heinz Beck came to Dubai, and I started working with him to developing the menu. What I realized that a lot of traditional stuff, he wanted to do it in a molecular gastronomy way, where it was new for me because everything I learned is basics and traditional when I was in France.
Classic.
Classic
Yeah.
cuisine. Yes. So it was something new, and I loved the way how things was prepared. So I gained a lot of experience. Actually, I didn't have a lot of time with him, but I was more with his assistant. He came here for 3 months. So I work with him for total, you can say 12 days to 15 days. And then I continue working with his assistant to develop the recipes when it comes to pizzas, when it comes to Italian food, when it comes to pastas. And you can see that also everything they prepare is from scratch, doing the pasta dough, rolling it, drying it, and then how they, what kind of flour, what kind of ingredients they are using, how to add the Santana gum to the pasta to make sure that it's lasting for more time. So a lot of things in molecular gastronomy I learned from him, especially using the dry ice, liquid nitrogen, developing a new kind of experience and strategy. So it was a very good experience for me to learn from him. And also, I want to add one more thing: the pizza. They do the pizza in a very long period of time. You see, and the preparation, the process takes time. It's not like you're just mixing sourdough.
How long? Explain to me.
Like you're talking about 5 days or 6 days just to prepare a dough.
Just the dough.
Just the dough, yes. So you need to prepare the sourdough. You feed it with, like, for example, they put the apple. They cut the apples, they put it with water, and then they keep it for 7 days before. So you get the activation from the water, and then you remove it, put it on the room temperature. Then you mix it with the flour, 00 and 55, and then you kept it for some time just to ferment. And then you take it out, you put it in a box, and you cover it properly, and then you activate it within 2 days, and then you remove it, then you mix it, then you portion it, and then again you rest it, and then you take it out, and then you rest outside, then you cut, then you proof, then you bake. So it's a very long process to get this kind of crispy texture from outside and the holes from inside. It's look, everything good you want to do, it needs a long process, doesn't come easily.
But how was it for you? I mean, if we put it into context, Heinz Beck is a 3-star Michelin legend. It must have been quite exciting for you. I mean, you'd obviously already worked at a 3-star level.
Yes.
But to also, and that was French.
Modern cuisine.
And this is Italian
Yes.
and modern cuisine. How was it at first for you? Because you said it was quite strange.
Look, I will tell you something. In my career in Lebanon, there is a lot of places where I work. I didn't tell you about it. I work with Albergo Hotel. Albergo Hotel is Italian cuisine. So I work with one chef, his crazy chef, his name is Casa. So I learned how to clean the barracuda, how to cook the Italian food, how to prepare the ravioli, how to cook Italian pastries, how to do the traditional tiramisu. That guy is completely crazy, and he also drunk in the kitchen. So and he wanted to do that day. There was an Italian flag day,
Right.
So he was coloring the ravioli the same flag of Italy.
Okay.
And that day it become pink instead of red. So I was telling him, chef, this is pink. And he started shouting at me, telling me, you don't understand, this is right color. I told him, okay. And imagine he served the food for 150 people. The 150 people complaining that this is pink, this is not red. So he went inside the restaurant, and he started screaming at all the people, you don't know how to eat proper Italian food, just eat Italian food. And if you're not happy, you cannot come here. He's completely crazy guy, but trust me, one of the best Italian chefs that I worked with.
Really?
Everything, he worked everything in his hand. clean the fish, prepare the sauces, pastas, everything from scratch. And he's a very, very, very strong chef. And he used to love me a lot. He used to teach me a lot of things inside the kitchen when it comes to Italian food.
So you had a base.
Yeah, I had a base, yes.
But working with somebody like Heinz, what did you learn the most about?
Molecular gastronomy, how to do things faster in a faster way, and how to do things in a more in a show element to show people, and deconstructive way. Like, for example, you're doing a tiramisu, traditional tiramisu. With Hans Beck, you will do a deconstructed tiramisu. If you were doing, for example, let's say ravioli, he will do some kind of dough different than the original dough of pasta, and he put alginate and calcium together, and he stuff it from inside with beef jus, for example, and suddenly it will pop up in your mouth and it will melt. This kind of things that I learned from Heinz Beck, yes.
But I think it's amazing that you had both of those schools, because I also want to ask you, what were your biggest lessons from working with these two giants in the industry?
Consistency, focus when you're at work, separate yourself from everything that outside your job. You cannot put the pressure, because everyone have his own personal things. When you go inside the kitchen, you need to separate yourself. Otherwise, you cannot produce, you cannot do something creative. You need to separate yourself completely and stay calm, even in the pressure. When you mess up the food, you have a problem, something fell down, the plate have been broken, forget about it. Just serve it. Serve in a way, find a way to serve the different kind of plate, but relax, chill. Like, for example, I'll give you an idea. One day I was doing a trial, and there was a macaron. I'm doing one macaron stuffed with halawa and some cheese and stuff. So I put it on the shelf, and suddenly the macaron fell down on the table. And the table is clean. I just took the macaron as it is broken and I put it on the plates. And I serve it and I call it, oops, it fell down. Like, for an example, just because I want to serve the macaron, I cannot put it very elegant. So I named this macaron, oops, it fell down. And it was deconstructed in the plate, the way how it falls down, and the people like it. I just find a way to serve the food and manage things inside the kitchen as well spread this energy to my staff to make them feel comfortable when they are serving food.
Yeah, because look, I mean, kitchens are very high pressure, but it's no good serving food when the chef is always aggressive, because it goes back to the team, right? To keep them calm and all that kind of thing. But what I'm also particularly interested in, Marwan, is that we have a lot of young chefs listening, young professionals, and social media, of course, as you know, has exploded on the scene, and everybody wants to be either a social media superstar or a TV star. Now, yourself, you are heavily featured. You've had your own television shows on OSN, on Fat Feet. You're always on there. Now, what is the difference between, working in a high-pressured kitchen to then going on television? Because there's still pressure on TV, but it's just very different. Can you tell me about your experience?
This is where the personality comes in, and this is where you want to relax and just do whatever you're doing. Don't think about the people who is looking at you. You know yourself, you're a good chef. You have a very strong basics. Whatever mistake happen in front of the TV, you can fix it easily. Usually in TV, it's completely, if it is live TV or if it is recorded, it's completely different.
Okay, so stop. Let's talk about the difference between the two.
Okay.
Let's go first with pre-recorded TV.
Okay.
Because there's already, instead of an executive chef, there's an executive producer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So tell me first about the pre-recorded. How does that work?
Okay, pre-recorded, for example, they call me from the studio and they start asking me about the recipe. I give them the ingredient and I tell them the method and how to prepare it. And I go there before they finish it and make sure I finish the plate the way I want.
Okay.
And we do another one on the stage. So one is ready backstage and one we are doing on the stage. So when we say to the people, because we cannot wait 30 minutes and 45 minutes
Yeah.
to finish.
Sure.
Now we're gonna clean the table and then we're gonna put it inside the oven and we'll come back to you after 35 minutes. So we're not gonna wait 35 minutes. The plate is already inside the kitchen. We take it out, we put in the oven, we just finish it and we take it out on the stage. So after 35 minutes, this is the final plate and this is how we serve it.
Okay. Very
So
good.
this is the difference when you are pre-recording. It's much easier on the camera because when you do mistakes, you can always fix the mistakes. You
Right.
can always rewind. You can always cut. You can always change the video that you have, the cooking
Sure.
show that you have done. So it's more easier, but you have to be comfortable in front of the camera. If you're not comfortable in front of a camera, you cannot just say words. And talking and cooking, I'm a person, I love to cook. I don't like to talk when I'm cooking. So it was a bit challenging for me to be able to explain and cook at the same time.
Right.
And when you're cooking in the kitchen, like for example, I learned from Alain Ducasse, the spatula, the maris, the trolley, everything is next to you. You don't walk and come back.
Right.
So you don't waste time. Everything is next to you. And when you take it, wash it one time, you clean it and you bring it back.
Gotcha.
And we clean the kitchen.
Clean
and
as you
then
go.
Clean as you
Yeah.
go. Everything is on there. We don't move a lot. This is my table. I do 1,000 people on this table. I have to manage myself for 1,000 people. So when you're working on the TV, you have everything prepared inside. And I'm a person, I do things very fast. On TV, you should not do it very fast because they need to say you need to explain for the people. You need to work slowly. It's not like you're cooking for people are waiting for the dish. You need to win time. Explain. Now I'm gonna remove the salt and put it on top of this. Now I'm gonna put, because you need to give more explanation for the people. So when you're cooking in the kitchen, you just grab things
Yeah.
and fix it and just serve.
So then the producer will say, "Oh, can you please do this again?"
Yeah, slowly.
Okay.
Let me focus because you need to tell them. Now, for example, I need to put pepper on the dish. So he need to move his camera on the pepper and then you take the pepper. That's why you tell him, now I'm putting pepper on the dish.
Okay.
So you need to explain for the camera to move with you. You need to understand the camera. And you don't know which camera is your camera.
Because it could be 3, 4 cameras,
Exactly.
right? A
So-
top shot, side shot.
Exactly. So
moving.
they will tell you, this is your camera. You need to focus on your camera. You cannot just move your eyes on the other cameras. So it's you need to just get used to it. And then it will,
But you need to be very patient, Marwan.
you need to be very patient. And honestly, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Sometimes cooking one recipe, if you are not good at it and you are not prepared, it might take 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. But for me, I go, for example, I have 3 recipes, I finish them in 30 minutes, 1 hour, and I leave. So,
So then if we take the pre-recorded, sounds good. Now tell me about live studio TV.
here the high pressure and the stress, because here there is no room for mistakes. You know the social media how it is, and imagine 10,000 people watching you, and for example, you're touching the chicken and suddenly you touch the oil,
Right.
or you're touching the chicken and then you touch the salt. You need to be very careful before each step you're doing it, and it's more critical when you're doing it pre-recorded, because everything have to be, it's live to the people. They can watch you live, so you need to be very careful, because one single mistake, it might follow you for later on in your career.
And also there's, time constraints. So you might have 5 minutes, 7 minutes to do a
Yeah.
dish.
This is why we don't do long consuming recipes. We do short recipes, and sometimes we prepare the dough in advance. For example, if I'm doing something with the dough, or I prepare one dough, I put it underneath my table, which is already proofed, and I show the people how I'm doing the dough, and I have to tell them that I have another dough which I prepared before. I'm gonna use it right now,
Got
and
you.
then you roll it. So this is a difference. It's not like the pre-recorded
But
one.
there's a lot to think about.
Yes.
There's a lot to think
Yes.
about in both, actually.
And if you do mistake, you need to fix it live. Like for example, if you do mistake, let's say I touch the chicken and after I touch, oh sorry, I touched the chicken. Let me wash my hands. Let me have. You need to fix
Okay.
it live on the camera. You cannot. But if it's pre-recorded, you touch the chicken and touch something else, then they can cut it and then you wash your hand. Then we have to. But you have to tell the people that if you do a mistake, you need to tell the people.
Just
I
be
know
honest.
that many
It's
people,
fine.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
fine.
You have to be honest. Some people, they don't realize it, but many of them, they will realize it. Especially if there is a chefs. it's gonna
But I think
be.
it's also nice to also say to whoever's watching, you're human. You know,
Yes, errors from
they
errors.
happen. Small things, no?
Yes, but you cannot just uh, you have to do it properly in front
Yes,
of the
of
camera.
course. No, of course.
You have to do it properly.
And talking about doing things properly, you have a really incredible television show called The Kitchen. You know, I wanted to ask you how did you come up with doing this show in the first place? It's a 6-part series talking obviously about yourself, about Kata, about where you work, chefs, but I wanted to understand, why did you want to do it?
First of all, I want to highlight the different kitchens in Dubai. The difference between the Michelin star, but the difference between the fine dining, the casual dining, and working in different locations. Like if you're working in a hotel, or you're working in a five-star hotel, or you're working in the mall, or you're working in a catering company, or just a delivery platform. So many of the people, they don't know what's happening behind the scene. So I love to go through all these details to highlight the people, what's going on, especially behind the in the kitchens, what when it's happening, production, preparation, and what's the difference between preparing bulk recipes and preparing fine dining recipes, and what kind of quality you will get from this, and what kind of quality you will get from this, and also the experience. This is what I needed to highlight to the people. That's the reason I make the kitchen.
Because it's a really fantastic television show. So honestly, congratulations. It's
Thank you
really
so much.
amazing the way you give that sort of customer journey, and people really do seem to understand it. But in one particular episode, and the very first one, you talk about Kata, where you are the corporate chef. Tell me about how that journey began for you.
Kata was a dream, actually. I started. First of all, I received a message from Mr. Pinto, the owner of the group, and he asked me to cook in his house. I was recommended from one of his friends, and that time I wanted to travel outside the country, so I don't have time. And then I cooked for Mr. Pinto and for his family on Eid Day. I remember there were around 29 people, and I had only one helper with me and two stewards. And the food was came out amazing. And Mr. Pinto suggested if I can be his partner and work to open a new restaurant group. That's the time I took the decision, and I say to myself, I've been here in Dubai for a long period of time, so let me continue in Dubai. And we were planning to find a location in Jumeirah first, but I spoke with some people in Dubai Mall, and we got a beautiful location in front of the fountain under Burj Khalifa. It was one of the best location where we took it in COVID, and I started following up with when you call before the phase of opening the restaurant, there is a MEP, fit out, construction. So I learned a lot of things which I had a bit of experience before, how to go through one stage to another, from one stage to another stage, in the construction, in the MEP, choosing the kitchen, choosing the view of the kitchen, the space of the kitchen, the size, the kitchen equipments. It was a bit challenging for me from the beginning because working inside the mall is completely different than working as a standalone. There is a lot of restrictions, there's a lot of rules, regulations. So it was a challenge for me and for Mr. Pinto. And we work on this project together. We developed this project, and then um, we opened, and it was really one of the best Japanese restaurant that we took recently some awards, and everything was smooth. Choosing the staff in the beginning was a bit challenging because choosing the right people, high end people, putting in the place to develop the menu, and then actually I developed the menu from the beginning, and then I presented the menu to the chefs that they are working with me, just because they have more experience in Japanese food. And then we gather our ideas, because all about sharing ideas and working as a teamwork. So we developed the menu, we start doing trials. We did a lot of trials just to make sure that this is our signature items for the restaurant. Of course, we rent kitchens outside because our kitchen is not ready. So it was a bit challenging for us to choose the right items. And Dubai Mall market is completely different than opening as a standalone market. Also, it was a challenging because Mr. Pinto wanted to do very high-end quality ingredients, presentation. We got our plates from Spain. We got our equipments, the best equipments in the world. Like, for example, the anti-griddle, the gastrovac. These machines, you cannot see it in a normal restaurant. You see it only in a Michelin star restaurant, or even fine dining restaurant. They don't have this kind of machines. So we get a very expensive and high-end equipment that I used to work with it in France and other places. We're trying to implement a top level gastronomy, but the market in Dubai Mall, we flip it a little bit to present a fine dining experience in a casual way. People
Okay.
in Dubai Mall want to go there. They want to have the food fast in 15, 20 minutes and leave. They don't have, you cannot just give them a very huge experience and spend a lot of time on just giving them the appetizers, and after half an hour give them the main course, and then the dessert. So it's a different way. You go to the mall for shopping and just want to eat and leave. That's it. It's not like standalone. That's the reason we are opening now in Jumeirah. Hopefully, we are looking for the Michelin star. We're looking for more awards, because the market there in Jumeirah is completely different than the market in Dubai Mall.
I wanted to ask you, the if you walk me through the experience, if I've never been, and I'm talking about Dubai Mall, how run me through that as a guest. So you walk through, you get taken through with the hostesses. Tell me about the concept of the food. What exactly is it for people who have never been there?
Look, a lot of people, they think that Japanese food is just about sushi. We're not about only sushi. We have a main course. We have signature items. We try to do the menu which is balanced between the hot kitchen, the robata, the main course, and also the raw bar, which is a sushi bar. First of all, going inside the restaurant, people look at the experience and look at the service. And then, if the food, the first plate arrives on the table, if it's not good, then this customer will not come back. So it's all about hitting the 4 or 5 elements for the customer to bring the customer back. A lot of people go to a restaurant, they say, wow, it's good. And when he tell you it's good, he might come back, he might not come back. But when he goes there and he tell you, wow, it's amazing, that's the time you will see the customer coming back. And a bit challenging because people doesn't like to go and park inside the mall. And the more challenging for us, and actually we believe that we are doing great. We have a lot of repeated customers coming to inside the mall. I have a lot of friends, personal friends, that they ask me, they don't want to go to the mall, please open outside. It's difficult to find the parking. Now that's the reason we're opening in Jumeirah, but they are still going there to try our food. The experience that you will get there, of course, first of all, when you enter, the hostess should receive you in a very humble, nice smiley face, and then put you on the table. We have very nice view when it comes to the fountain. The weather now is still good, so people can enjoy sitting outside, watching the fountain after 6 o'clock. And of course, the food doesn't take time. Serving a fine dining experience with receiving food with less than 5 minutes, it's a challenging, because at the same time, we are not fast food chain. We have a kitchen where we can serve 150, 200 people, but giving food on the table within less than 5 minutes, when people ask you to have food within 15 minutes, we can have a marinated Chilean sea bass cooked in the oven for 12 minutes, presented, served to the guest, not more 12, 15 minutes. But of course, we have some dishes that takes more than 15 minutes, which we inform the guests that it's going to take more than 15 minutes to receive to the table. So we start with the appetizers. But serving a fine dining food in a casual restaurant, it's a very challenging to keep the consistency. And in Dubai Mall, you need to increase the plates and dishes, make it more like sharing concept, make it more like bots, So giving this consistency and quality to the people, it's very challenging. And it requires a lot of focus. It requires a lot of teamwork inside the kitchen. If you go inside my kitchen, you will see the pastry chef working in sushi. You will see the sushi chef working in pastry. You will see the people working on salad. They can work in hot kitchen, robata, cross training, always there. We don't compromise on our people. We teach them everything from scratch. Uh, we give them motivation. We let them do their job properly. We follow them from morning when they are doing the mise en place preparation. Uh, Look, the chef always have to follow the recipe. This is very important. But also the chefs have to be focused, have to be consistent. If one chef, for example, came to me, he's not focused, I always send him home, let him go relax, and then come back with a full motivational, full motivational experience.
Because look, number one, congratulations on the accolades. This is a big deal because when you walk into the mall, there are hundreds of eateries there, right? Hundreds. But the thing that struck me the most when you walk into Kata, it's almost like it shouldn't be there because the fit out is amazing. The team is fantastic. The food is sensational. The experience overall is amazing. It almost should be a standalone in a DIFC marina hotel setting, you know? And I think that's what it is. I think you also surprised everybody because not only do you have this amazing setting and restaurant, but the food is super high quality with amazing ingredients.
Yes.
So are you particularly excited about the second site? Because it sounds like you're really going to push the boat out for this one.
Uh, Look, Jumeirah, as I said, it's a different market. Of course, we're gonna take some signature items. We've done it in Dubai Mall, but for the menu of Jumeirah, it have to be different than the menu in Dubai Mall. The people who's gonna go there, I believe there is a lot of local people who's gonna visit the place. So you need to twist little bit. You need to add more show element. You need to add more sharing dishes. I believe we're gonna start later on as a breakfast. I don't see a lot of people who's doing Asian breakfast or Japanese breakfast. So I'm planning to add these things. We're gonna have our signature, what they call this, show table, where people can have a full experience of a set menu. So we're adding more experience in Jumeirah, and this something also new and challenging to do. And yes, as I said, in Dubai Mall, uh, it's very challenging to bring people because of the interior design. People think that this is an expensive restaurant, but I wanted to show the people that you can eat casual, go with your shorts, go with your pants, just go inside. You don't need to be a smart casual. You just enjoy the fine dining experience in a casual restaurant with a nice interior design, and then you can leave anytime you want. So this is something we need to show it to the market so people get used to it. And trust me, it adds more value because I see a lot of restaurants, they are copying each other and doing the same things. And I always want to step out from this market.
Well, look, the other thing I wanted to ask you is apart from the challenges of the MEP, the construction, and that sort of thing, you've been a chef in the region for some time. What was the biggest challenge that you faced whilst running Kata so far? Because the reason I'm asking is because there are over 13,000 restaurants here in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, Fujairah, so on and so forth. There is huge competition. So how do you stay relevant in such a competitive market?
Look, I believe now you have to give everything when it comes to Japanese restaurant, when it comes to kata, everything have to go to the customers fresh. And you cannot keep a lot of ingredients have to be last in, first out, but most of our ingredients have to be first in, first out. In kata, the most challenging way, it's in the mall. I don't have a back area where I can receive all my ingredients. I don't have a proper storage to keep my ingredients. So the kitchen is very limited. and I have to keep first in, first out. So most challenges I was having to order the fresh ingredients on daily basis, try to get rid of it. Everything stays for another day. I preferly not to use it. So we use everything fresh in Kata. We receive it the same day. We receive the fish in the same day. Next day, maximum, you have to use it, or otherwise, you have to waste it. Mr. Pinto doesn't want to compromise in quality. He doesn't want to. Uh, he doesn't want to use something which is not very high end. So we build this foundation since the beginning to make sure everything goes to the customer fresh, consistent, and this was the most challenging way how to get our ingredients in, because also there is timing in Dubai Mall. You can't get your ingredients every time you want. So there is a timing in the morning and there is timing in the evening, which is very limited time. You have to coordinate this with the suppliers and the delivery timing. So it was a very big challenging for us. And we are trying to maintain not to have any 86 items or items out of the menu. And I'm a chef where if I see one kind of plate, it's not good, or I have a doubt 1% of it, I better throw it and remove it, don't serve it to the guest. So I have to make sure everything goes to the guest, consistent, same presentation, same flavor, same texture. I have a good smell, because whatever you see in your eyes at the beginning, this is what it reflects to you as a chef inside the kitchen.
Plus, the team need to be extremely
Very
well
strict.
trained.
Yes.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, Marwan, now, I don't ask many chefs this question, but I think you'll be able to help me with this. You're from the region, okay? Now, and you've also worked with molecular gastronomy. Now, if you look at all the cuisines around the world, Spanish, French, English even, Japanese, they all have their modern gastronomic twists.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to Levantine cuisine, I want to sort of ask you from your perspective, and for me, I love the region, I love the cuisine, I love the flavors that we do, really. But I want to understand, why has nobody yet done an incredibly modern, almost molecular restaurant when it comes to this cuisine? Because I think it should be celebrated more, but I want to see a modern twist on this. What do you think?
Look, few years back, the molecular gastronomy, before COVID, let's say before COVID, in 1 year or 2 years, the molecular gastronomy just, I feel like it started in the region. People start to focus on it, wanted to experience it. But many people have realized working in molecular gastronomy, they didn't like the flavors, they didn't like the taste. It's more like a show element than experiencing the traditional food. We all used to our traditional food,
Yes.
which we learn in our motherhood or we learn in our country, and you love always to have this kind of traditional food in a modern way.
Yes.
This is why that the molecular gastronomy didn't work so much here in this country. People want to go there. Before, when there was a molecular gastronomy restaurants and people just taking the video and picture, posting it on Instagram, they just eat one bite from it and that's it. Some people, they want to enjoy the food, the textures, the cooking style, the classic way how to cook this kind of ingredients in a nice presentation and a nice. This is why people still go more into this modern classic cuisine, not to the molecular gastronomy. But molecular gastronomy, if you wanna, I suggest as a chef, if you wanna do a plate or you wanna do a dish, you can use a molecular gastronomy. And for example, you're using some liquid nitrogen or dry ice just to enhance the presentation, but don't play a lot with the identity of the dish. If you play a lot with the identity of the dish, you're not gonna get the original flavor from what you're doing, because we are used to this kind of cuisine. Look, there is a lot of chefs who inspires me. Most of them are two chefs, Ferran Andrea, who created this molecular gastronomy, and the other chef is Grand Achads. These two chefs, especially Grand, he have his personal life issues, and he managed to get consistent. He got cancer in his tongue,
Yes.
in his tongue, and he's still finding ways to get the flavor and get the original taste to his guest without even tasting the food. And Ferran Andrea is one of the best people where I believe who created the the molecular gastronomy. So I always wanted to learn from these people. I always wanted to travel and have a course or have something from in Spain uh, or these people. And as I told you, here in Middle East, people go to enjoy the food, enjoy the classic traditional food in a modern way. They unless you're going for a date or you're going for a special night, then you have the full experience. But it's not something you go and visit every day.
Do you think potentially that there could be a restaurant like this in the future?
Look, before I love the modern cuisine. I love a lot the modern cuisine. I wanted to twist the Lebanese or the Middle Eastern food into a bit of molecular gastronomy. Uh, Let me give you a simple example. Like doing, for example, strawberries in a mold using agar agar and other ingredients, what's called CHL, and fermented it with acid, and then come up with a strawberry and some deconstructed maltodextrose, let's say, leeks. And then when you eat the strawberry, it's not a taste of strawberry, it's taste of capsicum, roasted capsicum, and something else. So it plays with your mind, it gives you the experience. At the same time, your mind, it tells you, oh, this is strawberry. I'm expecting strawberry taste, but it's capsicum, roasted capsicum. And I'm expecting, for example, coconut, but it's not coconut, it's leeks. So your mind directly take you to the other direction, which is savory, not sweet. This is where you believe that you enjoy the experience, but you don't enjoy the taste. So our mind or our body, for example, if you're eating a sweet or acidity, the right of the tongue, it's always reflect the sweetness. The acidity is on the backside. The bitter taste is always on the front. So you always in the ingredient or anything you serve to the guest, you have to have these 3 4 elements in your mouth to say that this food is good. So if you have only 2 elements or just acidity and something else, unless in your motherhood you get used to acidity, then you like sour, then you eat anything sour, but you don't know if it's good, but you definitely say it's good because it's sour. But you need 3 or 4 specific ingredients, balance. This is why we use sometimes pH to check the sodium, to check the sweetness, to check the acidity, because it have to be balanced for you to say that, oh my God, it's a nice sauce, or it's a nice food. And everything depends on what you have been eaten when you are young and what you have been raised in your childhood. Look, you cannot convince 100 people. You can make the best restaurant in the world. You still have 1 person or 2 person who are gonna come to you and tell you,
Always.
oh, this food is garbage. This food is not good. And some people, oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's always like that, but you have to balance it. I don't want every 100 people to say this is an amazing food, but at least I have 98 people saying it's an amazing food. The 2 person, maybe I can suggest, if he tell me this is not wrong, I will try to understand where he's from, and I try to offer him something he might like it as similar to his childhood.
The other thing is, again, being in the region, what are your predictions for the future of dining within UAE and further afield? What would you like to see more of?
Look, the competition is getting very high. A lot of restaurants copying, opening new restaurants. If you go in Jumeirah, you will see like more than 100 burger shops. If you go to inside the mall, you will see like 15, 20 Japanese restaurant. They're all serving the same food, having the same presentation. People go here, oh, I like this kind of dish. Let's do something similar to it. I don't like that because we start copying each other. The flavors, it's almost the same what's happening. I would love to see something new. Uh, Look, me as a person, is my dream is to have a restaurant with a small farm and have my organic ingredients. I plant everything there. At the same time, I do uh, food for 6 months, and I travel the other 6 months, learn new things from cultures, learn new things outside the countries, travel the world, because each country have their own way of food and culture you love to learn from. It's not about visiting a Japanese restaurant in Dubai or eating in a Mexican restaurant in Dubai or eating in French restaurant in Dubai. You have to travel to the country and see their traditional and street food, and then you come up with an idea. When I opened one restaurant in La Mer before, it was Iraqi cuisine, and I never worked in Iraqi cuisine before. So my job is to go to Turkey and go to Jordan to understand, because they are very similar silk route of food that they were using in that country. So I wanted to understand the Iraqi cuisine, the traditional Iraqi cuisine, and then to make it in a modern way. So I got food poison more than 10 times eating food from street,
Oh,
disgusting food, just because
God.
I
No
wanted,
way.
just because I want to know it's a street food and in a very traditional place. But they have an amazing chefs. Okay, so I wanted to take a chef from there, bring him to Dubai, teach him the everything from scratch, and how to make this traditional food in a modern way.
Right.
So it is very challenging to have this kind of people and try to teach them on how to work on a system.
Yeah, the
And
mindset is very
exactly,
different, right?
exactly. And or you have other option to put someone with them, or I have to be on top of them. Take it, tell me what's the ingredients, give me the taste, and start doing tests. But it doesn't work like this. You have to teach the guy how to do it in a modern way. With him, you need to take the dish as he's doing it. For example, let's say he's using large capsicum. So I bring it's Australian baby capsicums and I stuff it with rice. The way he's cooking the rice is cooking in the oven. Maybe I will do it on the gas. Or sorry, he's doing it on the gas. So maybe I transfer it to the oven. I want to make sure that I have the same taste, but at the same time, I'm changing the complete presentation and the complete vegetables or ingredients to lift it up in a modern way. This is a very challenging way. And this is when a chef have a very strong basics, it's easy for him to develop any kind of cuisine. Asian cuisine was very easy for me. There's not a lot of sauces, not a lot of things. It's all about technical. It's all about how you catch the knife, how you cut your fish, which I learned before. French cuisine, which was one of my basics. Arabic Lebanese cuisine, which also was my traditional basic, because I learned with these people when I was young. So if you ask me, I can do for you the best Lebanese food in the world. Now, if I open a Lebanese restaurant, I will open the best Lebanese food in the world. I can assure you that. But you have to open it in a modern way. Use some kind of molecular gastronomy just to add the show element. Use a robata instead of making kebab on a normal charcoal. You do it on Japanese compressed charcoal and twisted it with, for example, instead of using the normal beef fat, you use a kebab with wagyu fat, add some truffle to it, just to twist it, make a little bit of twist, but don't change with the identity of the food. This kind of things that I love, small place, robata, Mediterranean twist, and
I'm looking forward to tasting it, Marwan.
Something with a twist. People, it's new for the people, but at the same time, they are used to this kind of cuisine.
Yeah,
not something completely different than
I'm with you.
What they expect.
I think that's a great point, is actually having those small tips and tricks that really make a massive difference to the dishes. Now, we've come to the quick fire questions of the show. So, the first things first, you being a chef, this might be one of the most difficult questions. One answer only.
Yeah.
What's your favorite ingredient?
My favorite ingredient. Look, as a chef for a long career, you will see a lot of things in your life, and you want to develop it in a very different way. So there is a lot of ingredients you want to.
I can come back to you if you want, Marwan.
Come back to me.
All right,
there's
done.
a lot of things.
Next one: sushi or shawarma?
Shawarma.
Are you sweet or salty?
But I can make shawarma sushi.
Wow. Oh, wow.
I've done some sushi. You know the kibbenaye?
Yes.
I've done the kibbenaye, and I stuff it with hazelnut and sweet chili and nuts inside.
Very good.
And I roll it, and after with the sesame outside, and I cut it like sushi and with a dip on the side.
Very nice.
So it was kibbenaye sushi.
Very nice. Are you a sweet or salty?
Salty.
All right. Kibanea or Molokhia?
ملوخية.
Now, at the moment, in this present moment, what are your top 3 favorite cuisines that you love to eat?
Asian, Lebanese, and if I tell you, you will. I love Italian.
Ah, nice. It's very common, actually, to have those
Yeah.
3 on the show, so it's
Yeah.
good. Now, who would you say are your top 3 culinary heroes? And they don't necessarily need to be chefs.
Um, you mean they are chefs, but they are not necessarily to
Well,
be.
no, it could be, for example, it could be your grandparents, it could be your mom, it could be a chef. But I need the top 3 who have made the biggest impact from a culinary perspective in your life.
Top 3 people. Look, I've worked with a lot of people who's usually working in a different career. I visited their house and they have their own kitchen and they have their own ingredients and stuff, and they are cooking for the family, cooking for friends. I have my friend, his name is Krikor. He's a producer in Discovery Channel. He's always when he invite us, he do meats and stuff, and he love to cook. So I have some friends which is they are in the career, but they are not chefs. You know?
Okay, so he's number 1, and 2 more. Who would you say has made an impact in your life
Impact in my life.
from a cooking perspective?
My father used to cook.
Mhm.
My father used to cook, but doesn't have patience. So yeah,
I think you're 50-50. You have patience for
yeah.
TV, but not patience for pastry.
My mom, I used to teach my mom cooking.
But I think that's nice, though.
Yeah,
That's
I used
really
to teach
nice.
my mom cooking. And who else? I can't remember the third
All right.
person.
Now, from your years of experience in professional kitchens, what has been the funniest ever incident that you've seen or been involved in?
There is a lot, but I'm gonna tell you maybe one or two.
Okay.
I used to work in one place called the Horseshoe. This is an American franchisee for burgers, and I was young that time. I work in a season like 3 months, and I have to manage people there which they don't want to work. Actually, they're just coming there just to have fun, and you need to serve a lot of people. Which is there is a glass in front of you, and people will see you what you are cooking, but behind there was a grill, which a small area where people cannot see.
Right.
There is one guy. I have one guy. He have a very zero patience. His name is Rami. I don't want to say his family name. He was a CDP, and he only prepare burgers. And there is one guy. I believe he came to the restaurant. He was drunk. He was asking for one burger. He didn't even wait. He's a usual customer and always complaining about the burger. There is no sauce, or add more meat, add this, add that, add. And that time I was not a chef. I was CDP, but just helping, you know. And I saw this chef. He said to him, "Hey, pronto, where is the burger?" In the first minute, and he got no patience.
Oh.
He removed the burger. He hit it up in on the ceiling, and the burger come down on the grill. After he put it on the floor, he give the mark of the shoes. He take it, put in his burger, and he serve it. And then uh, he give it to the he gave it to the customer, and the customer, he came and he told him, "This is the best burger I ever eat in my life."
I shouldn't laugh.
That that day I was like, "What the hell is happening?"
my
You know,
God.
like that. You know, he was wearing. I still remember the shoes name on the burger. It's Heinz shoes, and you know it's written H on the burger
Oh my
from the
God.
shoes. Like the mark of the shoes is on the burger, and he put it for him and he served it. And he told him, "This is the best burger I ever eaten in my life."
Unbelievable.
So I told him, "Keep it consistent."
yeah.
Every time.
Did this guy come back?
He's the usual customer.
Oh
and
my god!
whenever he give him not stamped by the shoes, he doesn't like it. So he used to stamp it by the shoes and give it
Oh
to him.
my god!
And one more thing happened in the same restaurant because the chef was going crazy with these people.
Right.
And they go inside the room downstairs and they lock the room for to sleep and take rest
Right.
when it's not busy.
Okay.
So one day I was in the kitchen. He took the fire extinguisher, the one white powder. He put it inside the door. There is a hole. He put into the door and push it all inside that room. There was 3 stuff. The 3 stuff came out white color, and only I can see their mouth, and they're coming up. They said, "You did that to us. Okay, I will go inside the restaurant like this." So 3 of them enter the restaurant. People looking at them. They are all white. And one of them, he cannot see. We grab him and we run with him to the hospital in the road.
Oh my!
So
God.
there were completely crazy place where I work.
What a beautiful place of work.
Yeah, even in
Oh.
Pachi, by the way, we have a lot of funny stuff happen there in Pachi. And Pachi, because we used to spend a lot of time together, working for 20 hours, 18 hours. So you need to enjoy when the chefs are not there. You need to do something. Otherwise,
you go crazy.
You go crazy. Exactly.
What advice would you give to 16-year-old Marwan Sardouk?
Travel more, understand the cultures, learn more. Look, I'm good in basics, but it's nice to travel to different kind of the worlds and understand their basic and the traditional way of cooking. Because when you understand basics, ingredients, and traditional, you can develop any kind of cuisine you want. Don't ask me, this chef worked 5 years in Asian and then work in French restaurant 5-6 years. It's all about the basics. It's all about the ingredients. It's all about how you understand food technology. If you know food technology, you can develop any kind of cuisine. It's easy for you. You just learn about the basic ingredients for each cuisine and learn the sauces, and you can do miracles in the cuisine. You just need the strong basics.
Now, from a social media perspective, if somebody wanted to get hold of you and they wanted to contact you, how can they do that?
Look, a lot of people message me on Instagram. I answer them. Look, I'm not a guy of a person like I'm like some of them are celebrities. You send them message, they reply after 1 month, or they don't respond to you. I'm a kind of person. I always like young chefs. They ask, some of them they ask me for a job. If I can do something, I will do it definitely. It depends on the career. It depends on the kind of cuisine, because a lot of chefs, they work with me before in Arabic cuisine, and they ask me to move for Japanese cuisine. It's not easy. If he's old, he's like 40 years old, and he want to start as a Japanese, it's very difficult. I'll be very honest with him. But if he's young and ready to learn, I'll bring him as a commis. If he doesn't have a responsibility, I'll start teaching him the basics, and then after a few years, he will become a chef. So I answer everybody on social media. If some people, they want to message me, ask me questions, I always support, I always help. So yeah, I don't build walls in front of people when it comes to social media.
And what's your social media handle for anybody who hasn't followed you?
My social media?
Yes.
Chef Marwan Sardouk.
Perfect.
Instagram.
So I'll put all of that in the show notes so everybody can contact you.
Thank you.
Now,
so much.
Marwan, I wanted to just have a recap of our conversation because it's been amazing. So from your childhood memories, being the master of omelets, to then working as a teenager in all of these amazing street food eateries, to then, of course, working with Alain Ducasse in Lebanon, then in France. That must have been amazing for you.
I went to Singapore as well.
And Singapore,
Yeah.
of course. You know, traveling, you know, again, being involved with Heinz, Beck for that time must have been amazing for you. Your TV journey, which has been amazing. And thank you for those tips and hints between the difference between live and pre-recorded. I think that's amazing for people to understand. Of course, talking about Kata, the incredible journey that you're going through, the new restaurant, and the best of luck. I know it's going to be amazing. And talking about all things modern, accolades, the future, it's been absolutely amazing. Marwan, I just wanted to say on behalf of the ChefJKP podcast, thank you very much for taking the time to be here. discussing all of this. Keep inspiring everyone. Keep pushing forward. Can't wait to see more of you on TV with new projects. So honestly, it's been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for you too. And thank you for inviting me to this podcast. It was really amazing. As pleasure. You were with me, by the way, in the TV show.
I don't like to talk about it. But thank you, mate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.